Got a bunch of pictures on here. I think this is 18 pictures. 18, maybe 18. I think it's 18. But some of this, at least these three, I gotta merge them. So let me start with these three here. And I'll just merge them, photo merge into HDR. And I was on a hill, let's just merge, and I stopped quickly to take a picture of the sun setting in the background of with these satellites. You can kind of see them here. So let's see what we can do. So if we drop the highlights, I wish I had an ND filter. Now that I look at this, it's not as good as it looked like when I was standing there, unfortunately. Yeah, not that great, but it looked nice at the time. I wish I could get, if I had an ND filter, I could lower the brightness in this region just around the sun so I can see the outline of the sun, but it didn't work out as well. All right, then let's get back to, let me just delete this one because it's not that good. And then let's just do one at a time, see if we can do better than the photo merge. Not really. Not really. Yeah, they all look like trash. That's okay. In my view, obviously. All right. So I'll just delete these three because they didn't turn out as good as I thought they would. Let's delete these three. All right. So this one I was coming off a boardwalk of a park I like to go to, one of the many parks. I wish there was something down here to focus on. However, I just liked how neat this boardwalk was at the time. And I just now noticed that you can see the rays of the sun or sunset on these trees. Could have been an interesting photograph had I put some more thought into it. All right, let's see what we can do. Let's drop the exposure and increase the saturation. Wait, where is the saturation? Here we go. Saturation. And then we could probably drop some of the blacks and the shadows. Maybe the luminance for that brown. So let me pick the brown and see from these leaves and see. Oh, it doesn't care for this brown color. There we go. All right, let if you do this and increase the luminance a little bit. All right, what about the green? If we pick the green, because there's some evergreens in the back here. If we make that greener, that kind of does something. All right, let's see what the before and after look like. I mean, I prefer this picture, but it's not well, the photograph as a whole is not well constructed. I don't think. I wish it was like the path was leading towards something. All right, on to the next. This one I kind of like because I tried to include this bit of I don't know what you call this, that was jutting out into the water, and this lonely stone by itself. I kind of like how that looked. So if we raise the shadows even more, I guess that's better. And if we straighten this, let me see, if we do auto align, I mean, that does look better already, actually. Then what else can we do? We can pick the red. Can we pick the red? Let me see. Will it let me? Maybe. Yes, it did. Awesome. And then we increase the saturation just a little bit. Okay. So we get some nicer reflections in the water from here. Because of that, let me see. Yeah, it did. And then what else can we do? I guess we don't need the shadows back here so much because this is the focal point of the picture, at least as I intended at the time when I was taking it. So let me drop the shadows a little, the blacks and the shadows a little bit. Again, I wish there was something right in here. Yeah, all right, let's see what that looks like before and after. I mean, clearly I prefer this picture. All right, this one was taken from a distance and I could see three swan. I'm afraid to zoom in here. Three swan in the foreground. Actually, it's not too bad. This is with a variable aperture lens taken at f6.3. That was the widest at this zoom range. Where is the zoom range on here? It was at f70. Oh, this is a lens 70 to 350 and at 70 millimeters. So what can we do with this picture? I just watched a video about how to use the rule of thirds and not to always put the horizon line. In this case would be the water, where the water is next against abuts the trees or the tree line, or the base of the trees, not to always put that in the center of the photos. And I think that's a cool idea. They showed some really nice examples. But let's see what we can do with this. Of course, we can make the greens more green or make the greens greener. We can start with that. Also gives me I was thinking the other day, what's the difference with, I mean, where do we draw the line between AI generated photo and one that we edit beyond recognition, as in it doesn't look like what it was before? And an argument can be made that they're not too far from each other because, I mean, the trees weren't this green. And sometimes we do all kinds of crazy stuff, like we replace the sky and so on, and we might erase an object or something. But I guess the other side of this, and I think this would be more accurate, is that at least with a photograph, you have the raw data, the raw material. You've done the work, you've gone out, and you're using the base ingredients versus you're creating something out of thin air without even a photograph. Now, it gets blurred if you have a photograph and then you use AI to generate a whole nother part of the image. I think that's I don't know what to call that, but in any case, I don't believe AI is going to replace photography anytime soon. All right, so here we go. Let's see what we can do with this. This one I was really low down, as you can tell, with the water. Again, I wish I had done different, because then if I had gotten a mirror image of this bit of shrub, I can kind of see it here, but then the top of it is chopped off. Such a pity. Let's see what we can do. So that's not too bad, but we can do. I was also deliberately trying to off-center this, so it's not always in the center, which is kind of boring in my view. Then we can make that greener still. Will it allow me to select it? Yes, it does. And what if we select the brown? Yes, it does. And then what if we select the other green? Yes, it does. Cool. All right, what else can we do with this? I guess we could have cropped this in too, you know. It might look like garbage because it's not a high quality lens or camera. This way. Let me see this way first. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. All right, moving on. It's so hard to take pictures of deer without a long zoom lens and two, without sneaking up on them. Because quite often I don't see them until they see me and they're running away. In any case, I was walking through the woods and I heard them running away, and I figured they wouldn't go far because they're pretty used to humans walking through that part of the park. So I slowly crept over the hill and I caught this bugger looking right at the lens, and I thought it was awesome. I don't know which picture is better. Actually, I prefer this one to this one because all of this here is a little bit of a distraction, and this is less of the foreground. So I'll try to edit this one. Let's see what we can do with auto. That's pretty cool. And then we can drop that down a little bit. Drop the exposure down. Drop the highlights. And let's try to select a subject. Will it select the deer? It did, with the exception of this back here. It's okay. For demonstration purposes, let's see what we can do. Wait. Okay, no people found. Let's see what we can do with. Okay, all right. Let's drop the shadows on this bugger, the blacks, and all right, that's good. And then we can, I guess we can raise the overall saturation of the image. And we can raise the contrast just a little bit. If it was in the middle of fall, still it would be nice because then you could see more leaves and then just this bugger peering through the leaves, which would have been nice, really nice. Anyhow, let's see what we've done so far. All right, so I prefer this image. All right, moving on. I went low down to get this in the towards the side of the image. Obviously, this is my intended focal point. Let's see what we can do with this image. You know what? I wouldn't change much, to be honest. Now, if there was an insect or something hanging around, maybe it would have detracted from the pine cone, but it perhaps would have made it a little bit more interesting, I think. All right, let's see this one here. So I've taken a picture of this bench multiple times. However, from this distance, I thought it was really interesting with this open space on the left of the image and then the bench by itself that's empty. And quite often I say to myself, if someone was sitting here, it would have been nice to have them in the shot. But in this case, I think it's fine because there's a lot to see in the image, I think. But let's see what we can do. All right, so let's increase the contrast a little bit. Drop the blacks, and then we could drop the exposure. Okay, maybe, as I can imagine, if someone was standing here fishing, that would have been cool. Maybe. Or, yeah, maybe. Or an animal over here somewhere. All right, on to the next. I was just walking by and I saw this on the side of the hill, and I figure try to get a picture of it up close. If I zoom in, it's not so sharp. But from this distance, it's sharp. But it's taken with the same lens, though. So this lens is not particularly sharp. It's more of a wildlife lens, kind of. The 70-350 variable aperture, f4.5 taken at 72 millimeters. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. That's actually, I wouldn't do much with this, you know, because all of this over here is kind of busy, and I wouldn't do much with this. I mean, I could make it greener, but why? Sometimes I take a picture and I really don't see what else I would do with it. Also because I haven't been doing this for many, many years, so I'm sure someone who has more experience and more skill could do a lot with this picture to make it more interesting. But let's try our luck anyways. Let's see. We can raise the shadow. Let's see what else we can do to increase the vibrance a little bit. If we take the green, mess with that too much at all. I really wouldn't. I think that's fine. Let's see what else we got. How did we do? Okay. All right, so that's better actually. That's before, that's after. Okay. All right, on to the next. Just got a few more. This one I'm really interested in. Is a young lady I took a picture of, an aspiring model. I'll list her Instagram handle in the YouTube description when I'm done. But it was a good day to take pictures, and I think it worked well. But anyway, let's continue with this one. This one I took at some distance away, I think. Yeah, at the max 350, so 6.3 aperture. And I liked how only this had any color in this area. Everything else was devoid of leaves and color. So let's see what we can do. Man, I wish the lens was sharper, or there was a bug in here somewhere. Is there a bug? I don't know. It just does not look. Maybe I missed focus a little bit. I can't tell. I think I may have missed focus a little bit. Yeah, I think I may have. All right, so let's see if we could sharpen this. Can we sharpen this? Let's increase the clarity. And let's increase the sharpness. If you crank it up, what happens? Actually, it does look sharp, I guess. But just barely. It's not even noticeable. All right, and this is that JPEG, by the way. Unfortunately, I think my camera was accidentally taking JPEGs only, so I don't have the raw photo, which could explain why I can't extract more from this. All right, and what does it look like before and after? That's before, that's after. Okay. This one, I just took this one to see if I could shift the focus, because I was trying to focus on this thing and I got this by accident. On the back of the camera, it looked like I had this in focus. It looked great. But it was clear afterwards that it wasn't. So let's see. Let's see what we can do. Will it allow me to shift the focus? Let's see. It hasn't been, oh, here it is. It does work. Let's see. All right, so if we move it, see, it looks kind of goofy though. See that? No camera would take this, right? Yes, it's not gonna come all the way to the front. It's not gonna come all the way to the foreground. Now, this could have been the focal point had I moved a little bit to the right or forward a little bit. All right, on to the next. It's a picture of my cat. I liked how she was almost completely framed by the sun through the window, or by the window of this, I don't know. She was almost framed in this light. Let's see what we can do with this one. Of course, the Lightroom's gonna think I really want to make everything bright, but I don't. I deliberately underexposed it because I wanted her to be in the shadow. Yeah. I wish I could have gone down a little bit more to her eye level, but maybe I wouldn't have gotten the entire shape of the window. But you know, see all these little bits here? She's the one that scratches up, you know, this bugger. All right, and then on to this young lady who is an aspiring model. She was very good, very, very good. She had way more experience than I did. So, and I like this because her, it's almost like the brick wall complements her jacket, and I kind of like that. And I discovered some cool things about Lightroom, that you can select her eyes, eyebrow, and so on, and make changes just to those parts of her face. So I'm going to try that shortly if it would allow me to. Okay, Looks like it's detecting people. We got people. And so we don't want the entire person. So let's just do eye sclera. So that's just the sclera. And we'll do iris and pupil. We can even enhance her lips. That's crazy. And then we can leave the here. We'll do this. Let's do, we have, oh wait, okay, let's just do this. And let's do enhance eyes. All right, and let's go back to, I guess that's okay. And then her, that's her lips. Okay, what can we do with her lips? Let's just mess around with it. Smoothing her lips. And then let's see what that looks like. Let's do before and after. I mean, it does look, this is before, that's better. Let me do this again because I don't think that worked as well. Delete lips, delete eye sclera. So we got iris and pupil. Let's do enhance eyes. And then we will see, okay, I see a little bit more going on with our eyes there. So let's do another one and do her sclera. That's the white of her eye. And we will do enhance eyes again. See what that does. Not really. I guess you could paint away the red of her eyes. God, I misfocused on this. You could paint away the red of her eyes, but I don't know if I want to do that. Anyway, I like how she looked here. This other picture I think was pretty cool. We were on a bridge. First of all, I would align this. Let's see if it will do auto align. Did it? No, it did not. So I'll have to do it myself by doing guided. And then what you do is draw a line for just 2 lines of things you want to be straight. So let's do that one. And then let's do this one also. Let's just do it parallel. Oh, Jesus. Look how it's contorted her face. Forget that. Forget that. All right, so let's see what we can do with editing the colors of the image. I wished I had a reflector, or at least a little, another flash, a smaller flash beneath or shining up this way towards her face. So I could get rid of these shadows. But maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but I can't see any catchlight in her eye, really. I mean, you can kind of see, that's me over there. And that's the flash over here, which it was to her left, my right, or screen right. But it's the hat is blocking all of it, and the sun's coming from this way. This is not from the flash. This light here is from the sun. All right, so what else can we do with this? We can darken the background a little bit. Let's do that. Darken the background. I loved how it looked on the day for sure. Let's darken the background. Let's do exposure. And I've learned that if you're using flash, you should take a picture without the flash first, and then take it to control it to determine how you want the ambient light to look or the background light to look, and then turn on your flash accordingly. The thing I did learn on this day was the little on-camera flash that I got as a bundle. It's a Godox or Flashpoint. Doesn't work well in this situation, especially in broad daylight. So it just couldn't work, especially with high-speed sync. It didn't work at all. Sorry. If anybody who hasn't heard high-speed sync before, that just means the fastest your shutter can be to sync up with your flash. So when you use high-speed sync, you lose power in the flash, so it doesn't shine as bright. Basically, how it is. Unless you get one of these newer cameras like the A9 III from Sony that has basically limitless sync speed. You don't have to worry about sync speed with your flash, so you won't lose power. In any case, the little what do you call it, speed light was not powerful enough here, and I had it on high speed sync because it was a bright evening. Let's see what else we can do. We can raise the exposure overall and raise the actually that does look better already. That does look better already. I kind of like that. I wouldn't even mess with it. That's mostly because the model is gorgeous to look at, and she did a fantastic job. Not so much because I did a great job taking this picture. However, I wish I had cropped that out. I think that looks cool. I don't know what this is doing in the picture, this part of the bridge. I don't know if it detracts or not. I don't know. But it's there. All right, and the last one is, I think this is taken a different day with a different lens. Yes, this is with a macro lens from Sony on a different camera. And I liked how this looked, even though there's no obvious subject. But it was just too much to pass up. I know it was on the tail edge of fall, so we'll lose these colors in the leaves soon. So I figured, let me just try to get one shot of this. So let's try to make this as saturated as possible and try to correct the white balance. And then we can drop the exposure, increase the contrast a little bit. And we can actually raise the shadows. I think that looks good, you know. I wish I had cropped in a little bit more. Maybe put this leaf, focus on just this leaf, and just shot just this. It's too much going on. I don't know if someone's looking at this, what would they find interesting? I guess your eye would be drawn towards this hole, but then what's the point of that? What I should have done is made one of these leaves the focal point. Instead of just snapping the photo, make a photograph, as they say. In any case, I'm still learning a whole heap, and it's fun to go out to shoot. Take it easy.